The MLB season right now is completely split in two directions. On one side, you've got the Chicago Cubs on a historic heater, multiple double digit win streaks already this season, and now they're sitting at number one in baseball. Right behind them are the Milwaukee Brewers, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, still the heavyweights, still dangerous, and still loaded. But here's where it gets weird. The American League has only a few winning teams overall. In fact, they got three, and yet it still dominates the top of the power rankings. So even though teams are struggling, they're still being viewed as contenders. Meanwhile, surprise team like the Cardinals, Royals, and Pirates are hanging around, and established teams like the Mets, Astros, and Mariners are all under pressure early. So are we watching true parity in baseball, or just early season chaos before the real separation begins? American League is struggling, but the top is still loaded. There's a strange split happening in baseball right now as the American League has just three teams with winning records. And yet, when you look at the power rankings from ESPN.com and MLB.com and all the power ranking aficionados out there, the American League still makes up nearly half of the top 16 teams. So, what does this mean? League feels uneven, but the top end talent is absolutely real in the American League, even though they only have three teams with a winning record.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we went through them, didn't we? On the show, I believe it's just the Yankees, the
Yankees,
Rays, and the
Rays,
A's
and the Athletics.
are the only three, at least as of this recording
And
on
then the
Monday the
Guardians are
11th.
500 if you want to, but they're not. It's not a winning record. It's
No,
not a winning team.
it is not. So you could definitely tell the Yankees obviously are very, very real. The A's can't really say for sure just yet. They've been down in the dumps for so many years. Same thing with the Rays, but when they have a team like this, when they have a good record like this, they usually stick around, and they have a lot of very, very good young players on that team. So those three teams, at least two of the three are very, very for real, I think.
New number one in these metrics, the Chicago Cubs. They've been on fire. We just saw them not too long ago here at Petco Park. They are the hottest team in baseball right now. And it's not just a hot streak, it's a historic one. Multiple 10-plus game winning streaks already this season. First team to do that since the 1955 Dodgers, and they're dominating at Wrigley Field. This feels like a team that's not just winning games, but it building its identity. And if the pitching holds, they're a legitimate World Series threat. But that's the big problem with the Cubs. I mean, they've had significant pitching injuries already this season, yet they've already racked up multiple 10-plus game winning streaks and have been almost unbeatable at Wrigley Field this year. I just don't. I think eventually they're going to come back down to earth if pitching winning championships continues to be the phrase of baseball.
And this is another team that we talked about at the beginning of the season, it being off to just a god awful start. They were in last place after the first 2 weeks of the season, and now they're up here doing what they're doing. You just had Boyd go down with a torn meniscus while sitting on the ground. Cade Horton's also out. They have a couple of other pitching injuries. I think Shota Imanaga might be the only healthy one in that starting rotation, when we're hearing rumblings already that they're looking to teams like the Mets inquiring about Freddie Peralta. So they're already out there looking for pitching help, and it's not even the middle of May yet.
I can't believe the Braves come in at number two, just short of number one. Nothing about them looks weak. I mean, they've been the standard so far this season. They just took 2 out of 3 from LA and really bludgeoned them over the weekend. Massive NL East lead. They lead the division by 8.5 games. They have stability across the lineup and the rotation. Still one of the most complete teams in baseball. And even when they're not number one, they still feel like the safest bet in the National League right now.
They're also missing a lot of guys. Spencer Strider's starting to look like he's coming back to normal. Spencer Schwellenbach is on the IL right now, and I think part of the reason why Atlanta dropped to number 2 is because of how weak the National League East is. The Cubs are the first place team in the best division in baseball, and as you mentioned, the 2 10-plus game winning streaks. The Braves are good. Not going to take that away from them at all, but they're 8.5 games ahead in one of the worst divisions in baseball. I think that's why power rankings wise give the edge to the Cubs a little bit.
New contenders starting to emerge everywhere. I mean, obviously, the Dodgers are still elite, even with injuries. The Yankees are powered by breakout bats like Ben Rice to start the season. Tampa Bay quietly dominating the American League. In fact, they're in first place in the American League East. They're one of the three teams in the American League that have a winning record. And Milwaukee surviving chaos in the rotation. And that's a team that the Padres will play this week. Another team that's going to be battling for a spot. There are some surprise stories as well. St. Louis continuing to outperform expectations with a young core. Pirates still playing above 500 despite last place standing. Kansas City climbing thanks to Bobby Witt Jr. And the Oaklamento A's are staying competitive in the American League West. They lead the American League West. They're one of the three teams that have a winning record in the American League.
Yeah, and the A's are going to be coming to town next weekend. We just saw how scrappy St. Louis is. Already played Pittsburgh this year a little bit earlier. So it has been definitely a surprise. The Cardinals, I think, on that list, though, are the biggest surprise. Pittsburgh, it's still early for them. Kansas City, they've been playing solidly. The A's kind of had a hunch that they were starting to get over that hump of being just a perennial loser in that American League West, but we were sure that the Cardinals were going to be just about dead and buried by now, and they are fighting with everything that they have right now.
And there's some teams that were supposed to be contenders that right now are fighting just to stabilize. New York Mets still struggling to find consistency. Detroit Tigers falling after the Scooble injury. Houston hit hard by injuries and road struggles. And Seattle stuck in an offensive slump. I mean, these are four teams that were expected to make the playoffs in 2026. Four teams that are looking like they won't make the playoffs at May 11th of the season.
Mets riddled by injury, only team in Major League Baseball right now. It's on pace to lose 100 games this year. Tigers, they felt like fool's gold at the end of last year because of how well they finished 2024. That's proving to be more the case. The Tigers are at the back end, the Astros, sorry, are at the back end of their dynasty. And Seattle really just goes to show because Cal Raleigh's in a nasty 0 for slump. I think it was 0 for his last 26 from when I saw it. That may have changed on Sunday. But the Mariners are another one of those teams where they've stripped away a lot of power. They've stripped away a lot of production. Raleigh's not hitting as many home runs. They lost to Eugenio Suarez, and they are really come back down. They've really come back down to earth from where they were last year.
Still early in the season. I don't know how many more weeks we can keep saying that, but that's the latest look on Major League Baseball and some of the storylines entering this week.